Hello YouTube, D-Decken here, and well, it's here. Or rather, it's going to be here. Starting on August 29th, 2018, the Duel Links Forbidden Limited List, or ban list, will be updated with brand new cards. Now, I've only seen the top card of the list simply from clicking on the link, and I haven't seen anything else on the list. But from what I have seen, I do like. So this is sort of me reacting, giving my first thoughts on the entire ban list, etc. Now, before I start, I have been fighting a cold the past couple of days, so if I sound congested at any point, it's because I'm currently sick. But the ban list is something that I've been kind of waiting for, and many people have been waiting for mainly a Pacific deck in particular, but there's also a couple cards that I've been kind of wanting to see get hit, and I'm kind of curious to see whether they've got hit or not. And also, before all that, there was one skill that got nerfed, and that skill was Beatdown. And honestly, Beatdown still kind of does the same thing of what it does. Basically, Beatdown lets you increase monsters by 300 for every level 5 or higher, but before it was all monsters, now it's just level 5 or higher. In other words, the idea of the skill was to make big monsters bigger. However, before it also let the little monsters also get bigger, so now the skill just lets big monsters get bigger, which is fine. Which, in a matchup between like Blue Eyes White Dragon and Dark Magician, you would want your Blue Eyes to go to 33, or if you have multiple Blue Eyes, to go to like 3,900, yeah. You'd really only be doing it for the big monsters, not for the little Kid Moto or little Paladin of Filigrana or whatever you have also on your field. It's mainly for the big beaters. If Chaos Dragon ever becomes a thing, that'd be it's still a viable skill. Not to say that. But with that out of the way, I'm going to start talking about the list. And the very first card that made me happy was seeing Dinah get limited. Now, I'll be honest, I don't like for hire. However, in terms of like hitting the cards, Dinah is the only one I can actually see getting limited. And the reason for that is essentially it's a level 6, 2500 attack Maraudi Captain. And that can easily be special summoned, and there's a lot that's wrong with that, to be honest. Like, for anyone who's no Maraudi Captain, or grew up with Maraudi Captain, being able to attack lock your opponent in a game where you only have so many resources to devote onto certain things, it can kind of get annoying. Not to mention, again, for hire, it's easy able to beat down to summon heavy beaters and just constantly attack you down. It's fairly annoying. And honestly, not to mention, Dinah it's not like a Dark Magician where you have to like tribute 2 monsters or anything. Dinah is level 6, meaning that you only have this. Meaning that if you can't use the for hire effect to special summon them, all you really need to do is just tribute them to bring it out. Not to mention the for hire deck already has a mechanic that lets you even do that. You mayhem as for hire little guy from your graveyard. The little guy summons a Dinah, and then you tribute the little guy for a second Dinah, and you already have the attack lock right there. Now, weirdly enough, I've noticed the Vagabond decks only using like 1 or 2 Dinahs already. And I'm not sure if many people are more accustomed to using 2 Dinahs for consistency reasons. But that said, it shouldn't affect people's deck too much, but then again, it's just this card is too easily abusable. Not to mention, like in a more recent Vagabond Duel, they were using Beast Rising, I think it was. They banished the first Dinah to make the second Dinah go to 5k, and then it's like, deal with me. It's like, Dinah, like I said, the only one that need to get limited, and there's a couple that need to get summoned, and just from looking on this list, I can see one of those 2 cards now, which was Dampa, and I'm just going to scroll to 2. Oh, there's only 2 cards. Oh, okay, I thought this was going to be a longer list. Well, okay, I'll start talking. Dampa was one of the other 2 cards I thought needed to get semied. Dampa and Beat was the cards I really want to get semied. I didn't think Beat would ever get like limited or banned or anything, just because not only is it consistency enabler, it's also a super rare card, which you have to buy multiple boxes to get, and that translates to money for the creators of the game, which, yeah, they would never like semi that card. So it's kind of difficult to justify that. However, Dampa and Dinah are both rares, and it's easy to justify, oh, just hit this card. But with that out of the way, Dampa is kind of like Marshally from the last list. Like, the fact that it can interact on your opponent's turn and be able to hit their cards, hit monsters that you're attacking with, is kind of the problem. Not to mention when you're able to mayhem Dinah, like if you destroy Dinah and then you mayhem Dinah back on the field with a Dampa on the field, your first instinct will be to attack over it. But with Dampa be able to destroy those hack position monsters, it becomes problematic because they get their 2500 beat stick back, and Like, limiting for hire isn't as big an issue as anyone would probably tell you because they already have a recovery unit called strategists, and strategists can just recover their cards back. So it's not like so it's I feel like for hire should have got like at least one more hit in some way, but honestly, beat would have been the only one other viable hit. Other than that, the only other semi-limited card was Amazona's Baby Tiger, which, thank you. Thank you. Like, Amazonas it's a hit 22. Like, there are ways to get around it now, but putting another semi-limited card in the deck is kind of a fun way to just, well, not really fun, but, like, the deck like, Baby Tiger is an annoying card. Like, you can tribute it and then bring it back. Like, it's a recurring monster when you combo it with Onslaught that now, if you have to play 1 or like 2 or 0, people are probably going to pick Onslaught over Baby Tiger, and Baby Tiger is just, like, the idea with dealing with Onslaught is either get rid of Onslaught or get rid of the monster so you can just beat down your opponent. But when you have a monster that can instantly just come back and act as a wall in combination with Onslaught, whenever you summon a monster, it's like you summon an Amazon and it's 2 monsters instead of 1. Like, Baby Tiger does too much. Just does too much. And I'm happy to see it semi-limited. I never actually considered it as, like, a card to get hit. Like, Princess, I wasn't actually going to bet on Princess, basically because it was an event drop card. Maybe Amazon Sword Woman. Like, because it's used in burn decks and stall decks. Like, maybe that card, but not Baby Tiger. That's actually kind of surprising. Huh. Oh, I just realized they have descriptions on why they limit these cards. Okay, let's just read that really quickly. Dinah, this card will become semi-limited. This card will become semi-limited to suppress the domination. Semi-limited? That's the nomination of deck of prominent for higher decks with high win ratio. What? Oh my gosh, they kept the same text for the card will become semi-limited since it's allowed proficient for higher decks with high win rate to easily make direct attacks in the No, that is not why Domba. No, that's not exactly it. It's opponent in turn interaction with Dompa, and they. Oh my gosh, they messed up Dinah's wording. I love that. Errors. Let's see. This card will become semi-limited since it is a monster that is easily special summoned from the hand or graveyard and can easily take a dominant position in an Amazon deck with many monsters. Yes, like basically you deal with onslaught by either getting rid of the card or getting rid of the monsters. It's one or the other. And like Baby Tiger is again no constant wall, and that's it, huh? I thought this was going to be a longer video, and I thought there was going to be more cards. Like, personally speaking, I would like Anki get it semied. Like, Anki is of course a big card for like Destiny Hero decks, but I think like having 3 of it is a little too much. Like 2 would be fine, but maybe not 3. What else? I keep talking about this. Again, I would want Beat to get semied, and like for hire didn't get hit too much. Like realistically, they only lost about well, for hire definitely needed a semi-limited just to get rid of Econ and other decks, but they still didn't get hit that much. I mean, a good argument was they didn't. The final duel of the entire Duel Links of the World Championship didn't include a for hire deck, but the final match was 2 counter for hire decks going against each other. So I don't know. Like again, they should have been hit with something else, but they might in the future. I don't know. Maybe if Mercury does too much. Like seriously, I want Anki. I wanted. There's a few other cards that could have got hidden. Maybe Treacherous Trap Hole could have gotten limited. Like, no, that came from packs. It's hard to justify a few cards just for the sake of money. Any case, what do you think? What are the cards do you think should have been on this list? Like I said, Amazon Swordswoman and Anki would have been my top 2 picks, but what about you? Let me know in the comments and have a good day.